We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this an alternative world branched off.
No, that was not the latest Steve Roach album. That was one of many sounds, many strange sounds that are being heard around the planet. And it's been happening now for a while, but really picking up here at the first part of 2012. That was from Poland, and that was on the 15th of 2012. And the sound is very similar to other sounds that have been heard the world over. It's people are scratching their heads. They're trying to figure out, what's this about? Is this a harp effect? Is that what we're hearing? Is this a harp effect? Is this the plates of the Earth shifting? Is this Project Bluebeam? Is this Gabriel blowing his horn? And what is this? What are these sounds? Where are they coming from? And what do they portend? Let's hear another one of these strange sounds. This is from Spain, and this was on the 17th. And the sounds that I just played from Poland were in a fairly rural area. These sounds are in a much more urban area. It's not a city, but it's certainly not as remote as the Polish audio and Polish footage. So this is from Spain on the 17th of 2012. Here we go. Now, in some ways, it sounds like excuse me, I've not been incredibly well over the past few days. In some ways, it sounds like a dark ambient industrial soundtrack that I could probably whip up at home. But they're eerie sounding. They're incredibly eerie sounding, and maybe that's ultimately the effect of how we're supposed to experience them. Here's another one. This is for 47 seconds. Again, right around the same time. This one is in Venice, Florida, and this, I don't know. We'll see if this is a prank one or not. We'll see. Hold on. Yeah, it's a fake. Let's do this one in LA instead. Here we go. Yeah, that's a fake one too. Sorry. But so here's what we've got now. We've got these incidents where we are hearing strange sounds. Okay. Now we've got the spoofs that are being added into the mix. And now we've got to sort through what's a spoof and what isn't a spoof. And then we've got another layer. Let's say we're listening to something that isn't a spoof, but now we have to figure out what it is. I've got a map here of all the, it's a world map. Let me zoom out a little bit here on this thing. So it looks to me like the majority of the sounds are occurring in the eastern seaboard from the U.S. map, okay? So they're all clustered in the eastern seaboard, with some of them happening down in Florida and a few in Mexico, a couple in California, one in LA, one in San Francisco, and then a cluster of them in Canada. I believe the first one was the Canadian loggers video where the sounds were pretty eerie. They're out there in the wilderness. Okay, here we've got another cluster that I'm looking at. Maybe I'll put this in the chat room. You guys can look at it in the chat room. Here we go. We get some. There we go. There's. You guys can look at that. I just posted this in the chat room, and you can see the map of where all these sites, these sounds are showing up on the planet. Again, fairly well clustered in the United Kingdom, one in France. These are the ones that are reported. 2 in France, 1 in Spain, Denmark, Norway. Then there's a fair amount of clustering in Germany and Austria. If we go south and we drop down into Africa, let's see. There's nothing in Africa. If I'm looking at it from a world view, Africa is not getting any sounds. South America, of course, we played one. Well, I didn't play one earlier, but I've heard one. This looks like it's Brazil and maybe Chile on the west coast, Australia. One in, looks like, what is that? Korea, maybe? But the clusters really are Western Europe and the United States, as far as I can see. Yep. So you can look at that. That's in the chat room. And check that out. It's funny to try to get a fix on, what people think this is. I've heard everything from it's the Earth's plates shifting to a HARP array to the end of the world. So those aren't the only sounds, though. The other sounds that people are hearing are what are called skyquakes. I don't know if you've heard those. It's a different sound. It's a series of booms, very fast booms. And there was one that showed up on YouTube the other day, and there was a guy who was filming it, and it was coming right on the backside of a nice meaty chemtrail that was being laid down, and a series of booming skyquakes. So now we've got that to kind of factor into all of this as well. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know what they are. You know, I wish I was the Wizard of Oz and I could just go into my box, my magic box, and pull out the solution. Oh yeah, this is what it is, and go out and go find a piece of real estate, 10,000 feet above sea level, and make it a cave while you're at it. I wish I could do that right now. Maybe I will in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, but quite frankly, I don't know. I don't know what they are. So here's what I'd like to do. Since I'm not feeling so well today, I can't carry this show by myself today. I can't do it. I can't run for 60 minutes on this show. I need you. I need you to call in, and I need you to give me your take. Give me your take on what you think these things are. Give me, it can be as wild, it could be as conservative as you'd like it to be, or need it to be, or want it to be, or choose to be. So call in. I want to hear what your takes are around these sounds. 347-308-8995, 347-308-8995. While you're figuring out whether or not you want to call in, the other kind of significant piece that happened over the weekend, I guess is significant. Newt Gingrich magically reappears back in the Republican primary, just as he was being left for dead in New Hampshire. He's lovingly resurrected in the South. And I can't think of a worse omen for my 49ers this weekend than Newt Gingrich winning in South Carolina. I think it's amazing. I mean, here Newt Gingrich's second wife comes out. Now, I looked at that woman Jay Widener and I talked about this on Friday. And if you haven't listened to the Jay Widener show, I'd recommend that you do. It's a really good conversation between Jay and I. But Jay talked about this on Friday, and his own personal vetting of Ron Paul. And his own personal vetting of Ron Paul is based on his being Jay's internal censors. Like, he sees, congruent acts, congruent behavior, congruent body language, congruent tone and voice. All of these line up to Ron Paul as being a congruent individual. So therefore, Jay signs off on him. Okay? I don't really have a problem with that. I think we all have our own version of that. And some of the best psychopaths in the world, by the way, can get through that radar very well. We've seen it before in the past. But also, and one of the readers / listeners brought up a good point on the backside of the Jay Widener interview. She was talking about Ron Paul, and she basically said that if he were mind controlled, if he were, MK'd like, supposedly everybody else that's in the game and halfway close to a position of power, then he could be partitioned and programmed to react and respond in a very sincere and candid way. That could be the case with Ron. I don't think it is, but I think it could be the case. So anyway, this is all about Newt Gingrich's second wife. And I was using my own version of Jay's vetting. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and I watched her. And what I saw with Newt Gingrich's second wife was a woman that was burnt out, a woman that was disillusioned. She looked a little dead in the eyes, to be honest with you. Didn't really look great. I'm wondering if somebody was paying her to do that and she didn't feel really great about it, or whether she just was really adamant about, how, Newt was in their marriage. I don't think she was lying. In fact, I know she's not lying. Newt Gingrich is anything but a conservative champion of the people. Newt Gingrich is an elitist techno-fascist. He's an elitist techno-fascist. He's been on the Council on Foreign Relations. You know, Newt Gingrich is about as kind of Luciferian and New Agey as they come, and he's parading around as the people's candidate, the conservative candidate. He's anything but. All right, let's take a caller here. I think it might be Erica. Let's find out. Hello.
Hi, it's Erica.
Hey, Erica, how's it going?
It's going okay. I wanted to call in about those sounds. I am severely multitasking now, feeding the baby and everything, so I'll do my best unless he gets fussy.
Okay, well, what's your take?
I have my own opinion. I mean, this has been something that a lot of people in the Miss Flying Saucer group have been talking about a lot lately. Anything from Gabriel's trumpets to, I mean, everything you've pretty much said. One thing I heard that seemed, I was going around on a couple sites and reading about it. Somebody came up with the idea that it was ocean waves along the ocean floor, which seemed like nonsensical to me because I don't understand how that sound would travel atmospherically.
Right.
So that seems like a BS explanation to me. And the other day, actually I think it was yesterday, a friend of mine on Facebook had posted in the Miss Flying Saucer group that somebody's claiming that it is a publicity stunt for a Star Trek movie coming out in 2013, which, that just is such BS. First of all, it's worldwide, and it would cost more to do the publicity stunt than to make the movie. So they're saying it was for there's a J.J. Abrams Star Trek. She said it was Star Trek for The Voyage Home, but it seems to me that was released in like 84. Saying that it was a publicity stunt for that. But there's no way in hell it's a publicity stunt for a Star Trek movie.
Well,
I've had a lot of people take first-hand video. Our friend in Sweden, they have gotten a lot of this footage. It's also happened in Denmark and London in the past few days, and it's ramping up. A lot of people are starting to ride the coattails of it, and like you said, starting to fake footage and fake noises, and then people are running with that, saying things like, you know, if you believe this, I got a bag of beans I'd like to sell you. But it's definitely a real phenomenon. There's no doubt. Just like UFO phenomenon, you have people who are trying to get attention and making fakes, but there is real footage out there. And people firsthand that I've talked to have heard it for themselves and taped it themselves.
So what do you think it is?
I kind of have a combination. It's actually, I think, a lot of the things that have been happening the past couple of years, whether or not it's the HAARP rainbow clouds, strange phenomenon in the sky that people say might be organic, a lot of the UFOs that have footage that you've seen in the past couple of years, a lot of it doesn't even seem like it's a ship. A lot of it seems like some sort of, I mean, what about the rods or whatnot? There's, I think what we are seeing and hearing is bleed over from almost like a dimensional shift. And I think probably a lot of this stuff has always been there. We have just only recently been able to detect it with our senses. That's what I think.
Right.
And I think that runs the gamut from visual to audio to everything. And I'm feeling that it's a lot of these phenomenon are all related. Different cloud phenomenon that seems strange. Yes, there's a lot of other things going on, HAARP and chemtrails and all that, but I think there's a lot more going on. And I think that a lot of the chemtrailing and the HAARP is being used as an excuse to explain away things that we are now noticing with our senses from dimensional shifts.
Right, right. Well, that, you know, I think that theory makes a lot of sense, actually. And one of the things that you were talking that came to my mind when you were talking was CERN. And, you know, I think CERN does an amazing job of flying under the radar for who they are and what they do. I mean, these guys are literally trying to punch a hole in the universe. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I believe, so there's this whole concept of the Ein Sof. And the Ein Sof comes from the Kabbalistic tradition. And in the Ein Sof, essentially what takes place is a recreation of the universe through dark matter. Okay?
Right.
And this is what I think is going on and has been going on for a while. And this, I think that this is really the end game, is the Ein Sof end game. So, what we're hearing in terms of these sounds, again, it has to be fleshed out a little bit, but I think you've got to throw CERN into the mix on this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think everything has its part to play.
I would love to, maybe if I have some free time, I would love to look at the CERN cycle and try to see if there's any kind of connection between CERN and the sounds in terms of when they're throwing CERN on.
Yeah.
So, well, they seem to be getting closer and closer together. It's going to be harder and harder in some ways to discern between the fake videos and the quote unquote real ones. And I'm wondering how long it's going to take for the mainstream media to actually start covering this. What's your take?
Oh, well, considering how long the UFO phenomenon's been ignored, it's probably indefinitely. It's hard to say because, like, with all these people throwing in the fakes, it's immediately poo-pooed by a lot of people, like a lot of other things. So it really just depends on who catches it, how reputable the news considers that source, and if it could go either way. They could start following it, or they might ignore it, like everything else. Another thing is, 2012, we're supposedly going through that rift, and we are lining up with the center of the Milky Way. Perhaps we're entering an area of space where these cosmic sounds are just starting to ramp up too.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean, yeah, we're getting closer and closer to rising above the ecliptic, and being right in between the sun and the center of the Milky Way. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Yeah.
And a lot of other people are saying that one of the theories is it could be UFO related. We're starting to hear, I guess the equivalent of how we would understand it would be the equivalent of sonic booms to our aircraft. We are now starting to hear UFOs coming in and out of our airspace. Again, I think that would probably be attributed to, I think the human senses are, especially with certain people, there's going to always be the sheep who would just ignore everything, but I think certain people are becoming more sensitive to vibrations and sounds and sights that are probably multidimensional or other dimensional on a higher level, and that's probably, in my opinion, what could explain a lot of it.
Okay. Well, I think that's interesting. I also think we have to keep Project Bluebeam in our back pocket. I mean, we've got enough barium and aluminum and who knows what else in our atmosphere to have a very nice screen which to throw a lot of projections on. So, here's what I'm thinking. We're also dealing with a major, like in the 19th, we had an enormous solar flare coming our direction. So, we're in the midst of a very accelerated solar cycle.
Oh, yeah.
2012 and 2013 are really the peak cycles for all these CMEs. And it's here we have the CME peak cycle, and at the same time, Earth is, rising above, the sun is rising above the elliptic, Earth with it, and bang, we're cut off from the center of the universe. Mm-hmm. So these are all, pretty intense phenomena. So it sounds like you need to go be with a little person there.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little cranky. Well, I just think that the chemtrail masking that they are attempting to do, I think it has a lot more to do than trying to hide something. I've always had that feeling. I know you have as well. It doesn't seem to me like that's going to last much longer. Whatever that is that they are attempting to cover up with these chemtrails and whatever other purpose that they may have, that's definitely one of them.
Right. Well, that's certainly something to factor in. Okay, Erica, thank you for calling in. I appreciate your perspective.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
See you in the chat room, and talk to you later.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that's Erica Maringer, who has created, by the way, the image for the show that you see on the show page. It's a very cool collage. She did it. Yeah, I mean, these are interesting, disturbing sounds. You know, I wouldn't put it past. I mean, J.J. Abrams is in. All right. We talk about people that are on the inside. And we talk about modern myth makers in cinema, in television, in music, but mostly in cinema and television. These are the people that are driving the narrative of our time. Okay? These are the people who, in my estimation, have been chosen to deliver predictive programming to the masses at certain key stages in terms of the global game. And I should write up a list one of these days of who I think these people are. I'll put Roland Emmerich right at the top when it comes to creating predictive programming and getting a big fat budget. Roland Emmerich is the first guy that they open the Rolodex and it goes right to E. And what has Roland Emmerich created? Well, what hasn't he created? He was the director of Stargate. He was the director of 2012. He was director of The Day After. He was director of War of the Worlds. Are you getting my drift with Roland Emmerich? I would say Spielberg, obviously, near the top of the pack as well, although I believe his powers are receding just a bit, and now he's been tasked with who knows what he's been tasked with, Warhorse. I mean, it's not really moving his needle, but I think the young guns, Emmerich is not necessarily a young gun, but still, J.J. Abrams, absolutely. J.J. Abrams has, of course, was the creator of Lost, which has all kinds of, crazy MK, mind control, you name it, it's in Lost. If you want to wade through if you want to wade through all of it, you'll find lots of very interesting memes and So Abrams is in the mix, totally in the mix. In fact, he's got a new project coming out called Alcatraz, and it's airing this week. And Alcatraz is about, get this, when they closed Alcatraz, where did all the prisoners go? Did they set them free? Did they get transferred to other prisons? The answer is no. They froze them. They cryogenically froze them. And guess what? Well, it's the 21st century, and now they put them in the microwave to thaw, and they're out on the loose, raising hell. So what does that mean? Here we have this series now being launched into our psyches and into our consciousness. And the whole concept of it is literally we've just saved the worst for last. We're going to unleash the worst criminals of history into your consciousness. We're going to unleash them into your consciousness. I mean, it's right up there with the commercials for, is it State Farm? It's one of the insurance companies, and the guy says, "I'm Bedlam," or "I'm chaos," or whatever, and he is malevolent. And this guy is absolutely malevolent. In fact, he was in Oz, another prison series. He played the feisty Irish guy in Oz. And now he's Bedlam or Chaos or whatever. And he's, very dark, again, very predictively programming undertones in even a State Farm commercial. So J.J. Abrams, another guy, very in. The dude is in. I would say somebody like Mac G, who's a very popular video and film director. He's probably in. I mean, they're advancing people now in the industry who not only are willing to, quote unquote, play the game, but are also well versed in the symbolism of the method. And the method is something that Michael Hoffman talks about in the revelation of the method, which is again this really what we're in. I've really come to distill this belief that what we are in is a grand, ongoing series of rituals. That's what we're in. And we are flooded with symbols constantly. We are flooded with symbols come to life and acting out and creating archetypal dramas, and not even in our own lives, but on television or in the movies. And then we have the quote unquote real life experiences, like the assassination of JFK, which is a death ritual, killing of a king. And so we live in a world where we are constantly being asked to navigate through a series of rituals and magical acts over and over again. And this is a whole reality that people don't really understand. Now, the people that are making media now, they do understand that, and they're being forwarded into the positions of making media in order to continue this ritualized experience of one primary reality on this planet. And what we have to do is we have to begin to divorce ourselves from life of the symbolic nature at times, or maybe at all times. But I think this is really the key to being able to free ourselves from, where we are and theoretically where we might be headed. So what can you do? I mean, well, first of all, maybe you stop watching TV. I watch less and less of it. I have Netflix, and that's pretty much it. I don't go to movies anymore. I mean, I went to see Tintin with my kid. I mean, I go to children's films. That's what I see. But I've really pretty much stopped going to movies. I don't watch TV. Modern music. I mean, I don't get a lot of modern. I guess I do get some, but I don't watch the videos. By the way, Vigilant Citizen had a very interesting post on Friday about these two artists that were European and their videos, and just how blatant the revelation of the method is in their videos. I mean, it's pretty clear, what's going on, what's taking place, and it's getting more and more upfront in our face. It's, what we're doing now is what they're doing now is they're shifting the imagery and the symbolism from being, hidden and obscured to in our faces. And ultimately, that this will be the full expression of art and media on the planet. I just saw a commercial with Kobe Bryant on Friday. And I'll set the stage for you. It's a Nike commercial. First of all, it's been years since Kobe Bryant had a major sponsor, because, of course, Kobe got into a little trouble in Colorado, and he was untouchable for a while. But a world championship, and a few years later, kept his nose clean. Madison Avenue says, come on back. Come on home. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just do this commercial. You'll be fine. So the commercial is a Nike commercial, and it has Kobe coming up through the floor of an auditorium where he's about to give a very important presentation. And as he's coming up through the floor, the first thing you see is his hands shaped in a pyramid. Okay? So the pyramid rises out of the floor, and behind him, there's a whole other montage on a screen with a pyramid and the capstone and light firing out of the capstone. It's all happening, folks. It's all in our faces right now. And Kobe starts giving this speech about the human condition. And it's not just the human condition. He's talking really about human potential, about what we're capable of, about taking it to the next level. But it's all really, it's fiery yet bloodless at the same time. And you don't even know that he's talking about shoes. And then you go around the audience, right, to see who's in the audience, because there's people in the audience that are throwing him questions. And the audience members are very interesting. Remember, this is a shoe commercial, okay? Just selling a pair of shoes for Nike. But in the audience, there's Richard Branson. Sitting right next to Richard Branson is Tony Robbins. Also sitting in the audience is Kanye West. I think Larry Fitzgerald is in there too, but you wouldn't know who Larry Fitzgerald is. But I think it's interesting. Richard Branson, Kanye West, Tony Robbins, and this, entire Egyptian Luciferian little exercise in marketing. Fascinating stuff. And finally, about maybe 40 seconds into the commercial, you find out it's for a shoe. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to some music, and I'm going to try and find the commercial on YouTube while I'm searching around. And let me just find. Let me find this here. Hold on. Let me find. This is one of my. I have to play my music or else I get dinged by YouTube. So this is Quarantine. This was kind of a really early effort in music for me. I listen to it now and I'm like, not sure how I feel about it. But it'll take up 4 minutes, and I can find the YouTube video of the Nike commercial. Here we go. I'll be back in 4 minutes. Okay, so that was me as Dominatrix. I found the Kobe commercial. I put it in the chat room, and I'm going to play it now. So you can go in the chat room and you can get the link if you want. I'm going to play it now and just listen to the language. And I'm going to note who's in the audience. Here we go.
You're at the top of your game. You've got prestigious awards. You're a Chinese megastar. You own outer space. You got here by accident. So what's next? Where do you go from the top? You go over the top. Popping stuff. The Kobe system is about adaptation. Attacking fast and strong. How do you know when you're in the Kobe system? Look at your feet. How do you use the system? Put on the shoes. Listen to me. Any questions? What if you're really successful? He makes a good point. You're welcome.
Okay, so that last question was from Kanye West. The symbol for the Kobe system is a pyramid, and it's got fire or illumination coming off of the crown of the pyramid. And so there's it's interesting, they've introduced a kind of a new version of the pyramid now. Before, where you had the pyramid coming together with, thumb, forefinger coming together like that. Now the forefingers or the index fingers are crossing. So we have a pyramid with a cross top. And, what does it mean? I don't know. Ejaculation into space. I don't know. But that's the new symbol. Okay. Fascinating commercial. And again, is the revelation of the method, right, for our very eyes. It is going to be the standard art form for the rest of the century, for the rest of the decade. It is the standard art form from here on out for a while. So get used to it, and then turn away from it, or at least see it for what it is, and then turn away from it. It's like everything. It's crazy. I've got a cup in front of me, and the cup has a peace sign on it. Now look, normally when I bought these cups, by the way, I needed cups. I was leaving my house, and I needed to buy stuff to be in my new house, right? So I went to a garage sale, and they had all kinds of great stuff, and they had these cups. And I looked at them, they were red, and said, ooh, red cups, I like red cups. And I got the red cups, and I got them home, and I looked, and oh, shit, there's a peace sign on this cup. Okay, well, it's just a peace sign, right? Well, most people don't know that the peace sign is a broken cross. It's a broken upside-down cross, which is, of course, the sign of the Antichrist, or anti-God, and so now it's broken. It's also a rune. I believe it's algaes, and it's algaes reversed, and algaes is protection, and so this is lack of protection. So something even as I don't know, simple, kind of mindless as a peace sign, it means something. And it means something that you don't know. You don't understand, generally speaking. Maybe not you who are listening, because my people listening to me are pretty sharp. But most people don't know it. That when most people draw that peace sign, what they're drawing is something very different than what they think they're drawing. Now, you can draw whatever you want. I don't care. But you need to be aware of it. I found a great site. I'll pass it on. I'll throw this into the chat room too. If I can get my, hold on here. Let me just do this. Where's my bookmarks? Bookmarks menu, where are they? Okay, so I'm going to throw this. Oh, shoot. Did I go away? Oh, no. I'm still here, right? Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this. Hold on. Let's see. Sorry, I apologize. I was still spaced out from being sick over the last few days. And I thought I went away from the show for just a minute. So I apologize. I hate doing dumb stuff like that. Let me just see if I can find this bookmark I found. It's actually pretty cool. Let me see if I do this. Here it is. It's right here. All right. So here we go. Here, okay, I found this. I'm going to put this in the chat room. So if you want to really drill down and study some really interesting symbolism or the meaning behind a number of symbols, I'm gonna put this in the chat room. Here we go. There we go. That's for you. Copy it, save it. It's your reference Bible for images, symbols, signs, glyphs, you name it, it's there. It's all there. I'm in a giving mood today. It's amazing cross-referencing. We got gods and their symbols. We got different names for gods. Good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to bail out early today because I need to go see a doctor and deal with whatever it is that has been keeping me down biologically. So I'll be doing that. So I need to get out of town. I need to get out of Dodge early. I'll be back on Wednesday, and maybe I'll try to get somebody on with me on Wednesday to talk about astrology. I don't know if I can handle it. If I'm still not feeling well, I can't handle 2 hours of astrology. It's not going to happen. Okay, so thank you for chiming in and putting up with me while I'm under the weather and I just don't have the greatest amount of energy to carry the ball for 60 minutes. So if you hear sounds in the sky, record them. Record those sounds. I don't think they're going away. I think we're going to see more, and I think we're going to be scratching our heads for a while, and then my sense is at some point it's going to become very clear what they are. All right, use your head to discern what's real, your heart to open what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. You've been listening to the Monday Mashup, and I will see you on Wednesday with Navigating the Astrological Matrix. Adios.
We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we would be living the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point, a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this, an alternative world branched off.